At 16, most teenagers worry about exams, friendships, and whether they fit in. But imagine this instead. It's late at night, you're standing in a hallway with a backpack in your hands. Your phone is at 2%. Your heart is pounding so loudly you can hear it in your ears. And the people who are supposed to protect you are staring at you like you're a stranger. Your own home doesn't feel like your home anymore because you told the truth. You said, I think I'm gay, or I'm transgender, or maybe you didn't even say it. Maybe they found a message, a photo, a name you used online, a secret you were keeping just to survive. And then the door opens and you walk out. Not for a walk, not to cool down, but to leave, forever. This is the story nobody wants to talk about because it's real, because it's happening right now. And because for thousands of LGBTQ plus teenagers, coming out doesn't mean freedom. It means losing everything. Tonight, I want to tell you a story about rejection, fear, and survival, but also a story about something stronger than hate, hope. Let's start with the moment everything changed. His name in the story is Alex, not because that's the only name this happens to, but because it could be any name. Any city, any street, any family. Alex was 16 when he realized he was living two lives. At school, he laughed at jokes he didn't find funny. He copied the way other boys walked, talked, and acted. He forced his voice lower, even when it hurt. He learned how to disappear in plain sight. At home, he was careful, too careful. He deleted search history. He closed tabs fast. He kept his phone face down. He trained himself not to flinch when his father said the word gay like it was an insult. Because he knew, not everyone gets a soft landing. Not everyone gets, we love you no matter what. Some people get silence. Some people get anger. And some people get a suitcase. Alex didn't plan to come out. Not at 16. Not in that house. But one evening, his mother borrowed his phone to call a relative, and a message popped up on the screen. A simple message. Miss you. When can I see you again? His mother froze. Alex felt his stomach drop, like he'd just stepped off a cliff. She didn't scream right away. She didn't throw the phone. She just stared at it, and then at him, as if she was trying to recognize her own child. When his father came home, she handed him the phone without a word. The room became heavy, like the air had turned to stone. His father read the messages slowly, then he looked up, and Alex knew in 1 second that his life had split into before and after. His father asked one question. Is this true? Alex could have lied. He could have said it was a joke. He could have said it was someone else. But something inside him broke. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the weight of hiding. Maybe it was the fact that he couldn't breathe anymore, and he said quietly, yes. For a moment, nothing happened, and then everything happened at once. His father's face changed, not sadness, not confusion, something colder. His father said, not in my house. His mother started crying, but not the kind of crying that says, I'm scared for you. It was the kind that says, you ruined us. Alex tried to speak, but his voice shook. He said he was still the same person. He said he didn't choose it. He said he was scared too. His father didn't want explanations. He wanted obedience. And when Alex didn't take it back, his father pointed to the door. Pack your things. At 16, Alex packed his life into a backpack. A few clothes, a charger, some cash, a hoodie, a photo he couldn't bring himself to leave behind. His mother didn't stop him. And that's the part that stayed with him. Not the shouting, not the insults, the silence. Because silence is a decision too. When Alex stepped outside, the night air felt unreal, like he was watching someone else's life. He walked for a long time because he didn't know where to go. He didn't want to call friends. He didn't want to admit what had happened. He didn't want pity. He didn't want anyone to say, I told you so. But after 2 hours, his feet hurt, his phone died, and the streets became emptier. He sat on a bench and stared at his hands, and for the first time, he thought a thought that scared him more than being homeless. He thought, maybe they're right. That's what rejection does. It makes you doubt your own reality. It makes you question whether your existence is a problem. This is why LGBTQ plus survival stories matter, because the danger isn't only what happens outside, it's what happens inside your mind when the people you love tell you that you shouldn't exist. In many places, LGBTQ plus teenagers face higher risks of depression and suicidal thoughts, especially when they experience family rejection. That's not because being LGBTQ plus is tragic, it's because isolation is. Alex didn't sleep that night. The next morning, he went to a library to charge his phone. He sat in a corner pretending to read, but really he was searching one question over and over: where can I go? He found a youth shelter across town. He hesitated before calling, because calling felt like admitting it was real. But he called. The voice on the phone didn't sound shocked, didn't sound disgusted, didn't say, "What did you do?" They said, "Are you safe right now?" No one had asked him that all night. They told him to come in. They told him what to bring. They told him he wasn't the first. And somehow, that was both heartbreaking and comforting. When Alex arrived, the shelter wasn't glamorous. It wasn't like the movies. It smelled like instant noodles and disinfectant. The walls were plain. The chairs were scratched up. But it was warm. And there were people there who didn't look at him like he was broken. He met a staff member who gave him a blanket and said, "You're safe here." He met another teenager who was also 16, also kicked out. Different story, same ending. And Alex realized something important. He wasn't alone. The first weeks were brutal. He missed his bed. He missed his routine. He missed his mother, even though she hadn't protected him. He felt shame when he stood in line for food. He felt anger when he saw happy families in the street. He felt fear every time his phone rang. But slowly, survival became a routine. He started school again. He found a counselor. He learned how to ask for help without feeling weak. And then, one day, he met someone who changed everything. A volunteer came to the shelter, older, calm, confident. The kind of person Alex had never seen in his own world. The volunteer talked openly about being LGBTQ+, not like it was a scandal, not like it was a confession, like it was simply true. At the end, Alex stayed behind and asked one question: "Does it ever stop hurting?" The volunteer looked at him and said, "It doesn't stop hurting all at once. It stops hurting in pieces. And one day, you'll realize you went a whole week without thinking you were wrong." That sentence became a lifeline, because Alex didn't need a miracle. He needed proof. Proof that someone could survive this. Over the next months, Alex rebuilt his life from the ground up. He worked part-time, he saved money, he applied for housing assistance, he made friends who didn't require him to shrink himself. He started to laugh again, real laughter. And he realized something that his family never taught him. Love isn't supposed to be conditional. If someone only loves you when you're quiet, obedient, and afraid, that's not love, that's control. Alex's story doesn't end with everything perfect. Real survival stories don't. There were nights he cried. There were days he missed home. There were moments he wished he could trade truth for comfort. But he didn't, because truth gave him something comfort never could: a life that belonged to him. If you're watching this and you feel trapped, I want you to hear this clearly. If you are hiding because you have to, that does not make you weak. If you are scared, that does not make you broken. If your home is not safe, that does not mean you deserve it. You deserve safety. You deserve dignity. You deserve a future. And you deserve a community that will not punish you for existing. If you're in crisis or you feel like you might hurt yourself, please reach out for support in your country. If you're in the US, the Trevor Project is available 24/7. If you're in the UK, organizations like Stonewall can help guide you to support. Even if it feels impossible right now, your story is not over. It can get better. Not because the world magically becomes kind, but because you will find people who are kind. You will find chosen family. You will find a version of yourself that feels free. And one day, you'll look back at the night you were kicked out and realize it wasn't the end. It was the beginning. If this story resonated with you, tell me in the comments what you want to hear next. A survival story, a hidden hero, a historical turning point. Subscribe for more documentaries like this, told with truth, dignity, and hope. You are not alone. You never were.